Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Pari Luthra aka Pari by default, All India rank 179 in CLAT 2024. This video is going to be all about my CLAT journey and I'll be offering tips and advice based on my own experience with CLAT. If you are an aspirant who has already been preparing for CLAT for a while now, or if you are an aspirant who has been planning to start their preparation, this video is going to be a very insightful detail into what the journey of a CLAT aspirant looks like. For the first segment, I'll be answering how did I prepare for CLAT, and since I was also a 12th grader while I was preparing for CLAT. Firstly, I joined a coaching in January 2023 and I had to appear for CLAT on 3rd of December 2023. In the middle of the year, in around June and July, I had to give my preparation a break due to some reasons, which means my entire preparation was only of 9 months. For details, I solved around 100 to 200 sheets throughout my preparation and almost 50 mocks from various sources. To keep my reading diversified, I referred to various newspapers, novels, journals, magazines, and editorials. As an aspirant, you can never really understand how to prepare for CLAT without peeping into the day or in the life of a CLAT aspirant or of a previous aspirant. So, in the next segment, I'll be telling you what a day in my life as a CLAT aspirant looked like. For starters, let's just begin with how a weekday looked like. So on weekdays ranging from Mondays to Fridays, I used to wake up at around 8 or 9 depending on what time I've slept the previous night. Then I used to get ready and have breakfast and leave for my coaching. My coaching was around 13 to 15 kilometers from my home. In around half an hour or 45 minutes, I used to reach my coaching and my entire day was spent in one room or in the halls of my coaching itself. We were lucky enough to have a study room and an air-conditioned study room, and we used to spend our entire day inside that study room except for the times when we had classes. When I used to reach, I used to start my day with some newspaper or some GK which I hadn't revised from the previous day, or anything that was creating a backlog, especially in my current affairs section. After completing GK in around 1 hour or so, I used to devote 15 to 30 minutes to quant section. I used to solve a sheet depending on the number of questions. I used to devote time, and that's it, and I used to practice quants daily. After solving maths, I used to take a little break. I used to go out, have some energizing drink or something, and when I used to come back, I used to solve any one of our reading sections, be it legal, CR or English, depending on what classes were to be held on the similar day. If you are a coaching student, you should make sure that the subject you will be studying in the class, you should not touch that subject beforehand, since you will already be studying it. So you should diversify your day and take up some other subject and study that while you are completing your self studies, and later on join the class and attend the other subject. In that way, it keeps your entire day diversified and you will be learning more in both the subjects. After completing a sheet, I used to analyze it, and for all the aspirants, completing a sheet might take you 20 to 30 minutes, but you should take around an hour to analyze it completely. The method of analysis I'll be telling in my further videos for mocks and for sheets separately. But analysis is the most important part. Analysis is more important than solving. After completing analysis, I used to sit and have lunch. I used to chit chat with all my friends around. I used to call home. I used to call my friends who are not preparing for CLAT. I used to ask them about their day, and I used to spend like an hour or so doing such stuff. But all of this is just to relax your mind, because again I had to attend a class after that. So if I had time before class, I used to pick up doubts from the previous day, or I used to just go through the previous sheets that I've solved, or any analysis that was left, any topic of GK that interests me, or any random newspaper article I used to pick up and read. And I'll just attend the class for the next 1.5 or 2 hours, depending upon the class and the duration of the class. In the classes, I don't know about a lot of coaching centers, but generally we used to solve sheets, and then our teachers would give us the answers and later on analyze them with us. After classes, we used to pretty much chill for around half an hour or so inside our coaching campus only. There were a lot of people. We used to like have a group chit chat or discussion, whatever you can call it. Then, if not that, I used to just leave for home. I used to meet some of my friends on the way. If not, I'll just go home and rest for a while. Later on, while being at home, it's not really possible to do a lot of self study, but the most I've done is read or practice GK questions, or any one sheet that I used to pick up and I used to solve at home. Most of the time, I used to give it to myself to read something to diversify my reading, and if there's a lot of backlog, then GK. Okay, so this was all about weekdays. Now let's talk about weekends, because since CLAT aspirants have to work both on weekdays and weekends, it's just that there's a difference. So firstly, in my coaching, we used to have mocks on Sundays regularly. So on Saturdays, since Saturday is also a weekend, I used to work a little less, of course, since I've worked for the 5 days and I've put in all the efforts that I can. I used to relax a bit, and of course, I used to go to coaching, but I used to study comparatively lesser on Saturdays, or meet my friends, or go on an outing, or just be with my family, not go to coaching. And on Sundays, since we had a mock. So on mock days, this is very important. On mock days, I never solved anything beforehand. The only thing that I did on mock days is read a few topics or just glance through some GK, because we never know what is coming in GK, since we never know the entire paper. But since GK, it could be very diversified, especially when you're giving mocks. When you're giving the CLAT paper, you pretty much know what were the important topics throughout the year. But since you are giving a mock, it could be from previous week, previous month, it could be from 6 months ago, so you never know what's coming. So just glance through GK. Do not solve anything, since you're going to solve all the sections in the mock itself. So don't pressurize yourself a lot, because if you see, there is a limited energy in your mind for reasoning, for general analytical reasoning. Now all your comprehension subjects are based on reasoning itself. Even English, if you have looked at the depth of it, it is based on reasoning. So since there is limited reasoning power to our mind, don't make it very tired before you enter the mock. If you are someone who gets tired of reading GK as well, just don't do anything in the morning. Just go in the afternoon and appear for your mock. Or if you are a self-study student, just put your timer from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Since 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the ideal time, you should have a habit of giving mocks from 2 to 4, since your CLAT paper will be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so there's this thing in most Indian families, including my own family, we have lunchtime or rest time from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that is the habit that you need to leave if you are one of those people who take naps in the afternoon. You cannot, since you'll be appearing for CLAT. And it is a major factor, since a lot of people, I was inside the examination room in CLAT 2024, and I have seen a lot of people who were yawning, who were not really attentive, and that affects a lot, since you have only 2 hours to appear for your paper. So always make it a habit, whenever you are appearing for a mock, whether or not it's a Sunday, it doesn't matter. Whenever you are appearing for a mock, please try to appear from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. If it's not possible, you can skip it on a few days, but make it a habit. So on Sundays, after appearing for my mock from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I mostly used to sit with my friends inside the coaching itself, and we used to discuss how our mock went. The discussion is also important because you get to know various perspectives of the same paper, but make sure not to indulge yourself a lot into the discussion itself, because it might demoralize you. If you're a person who easily gets demoralized, avoid such discussions. Just go home, take rest, and whenever you receive the answer key, make sure whichever mock that you're solving, make sure that the answer key always has explanations for every answer, for every section. Now here comes the difficult part. The most important part is the mock analysis. On most Sundays, I used to analyze the Sunday itself, because we used to receive the answer keys very soon. Now, if you're someone who is not able to find, or who receives an answer key on Monday, so whenever you receive it, make sure to give it at least 2 hours. You can give it more, but at least 2 hours for the analysis. On some mocks, in some easier mocks, it could be lesser than 2 hours, but that completely depends on the level of difficulty. Now analysis, I'll make a separate video on analysis, since this video itself is getting very long. But analysis again is a very, very important part, whether it's sheets or it's mocks. Since we have talked about the entire week, and of course there is a lot of part left, but I'll be explaining further in more videos, especially about newspaper reading, about how to solve sheets, how to approach sheets, how to do analysis. Everything will be covered, make sure of that. But let's just talk about school, since a lot of aspirants, I think a major number of aspirants, are also school going students who have opted various streams and are struggling to juggle between the two. So, as far as my experience goes, I did not attend school the entire year. I think my attendance is not even 1%. So, I was that kind of a student. Okay, and I had a benefit in my school. They have thankfully given me the opportunity and the freedom, the liberty to not attend school for the entire year and still sit for the board exams, because in a lot of schools I've seen, they do not allow you to take your admit cards, or they just create some or the other havoc so that you'll attend school. But thankfully that was not the case in my school. Now I have taken commerce, and I've taken commerce without maths. Insert the plain commerce meme again. Now I have some and I pretty much had easy subjects except for accounts and economics. And since my board results are out, I was in CBSE board and I've scored 88.8% aggregate. So that's that. And since I did not study the entire year, I started studying after CLAT, and I still did not join any coaching. I did it all on self-study. So it's possible for everyone. It's just that when you're preparing for CLAT, you should focus only on CLAT, which is what I advise to people, because the more you're just a human being, and you're just 17-18 years old. You cannot diversify your attention so much and still expect to score good in almost everything that you do. You cannot. You have to take one thing at a time and devote yourself to it, and then do it. And again, now a lot of people have this fear, or a lot of people have this parental pressure that you have to study for school also and CLAT also. Tell them you can't do it. It's not humanly possible. You can't do it. You can't do both at the same time. It's there is this thing, like if you prepare for CLAT and school together, you are going to mess up with your mental health. You're going to mess up with your physical health as well. I've seen a lot of my fellow aspirants who were doing both at the same time, who were juggling. So either some of them have messed up their marks or their ranks in CLAT, or they messed up with their health and landed into the hospital straight. So I don't want any of that for any of my juniors. So if you're someone who's in the 12th grade or in the 11th grade right now, please put aside one or the two things. Either take a drop for CLAT and completely focus in your 12th grade right now, or just focus on CLAT and leave. See, the benefit that you guys have is CLAT is on 1st of December. You have the entire December, January and February to prepare for your boards. 3 months is more than sufficient to score a decent percentage in your board examinations. One last thing before I go. So, I'll be doing a 7-day series for newspapers and on how to approach newspapers, how to read newspapers, note taking, everything. All your doubts I'll be taking in those 7-day series. It'll be a series on YouTube Shorts. So, I'll recommend you guys subscribe and turn on notifications to receive notifications on the series that I'll be making. And okay, yes, bye.